Hi, I'm your L7 movie guy, PR Marks. This is the show for all your movie streaming recommendations and reviews. Let's get started. First up we have is Marty Supreme, a 2025 A24 sports drama film directed by Josh Safdie, starring Timothée Chalamet as Marty Mauser. A driven but self-absorbed table tennis hustler in the 1950s will do anything to become the world champion.
Who's the champ? I'm the champ? You're the champ.
Now, considering that this film is nominated for 9 Academy nominations, it definitely shows why it deserves it. That's because besides all the amazing production value like cinematography, set design / locations, props / vehicles, as well as wardrobe, wasn't the only incredible thing that immersed me in the past of the 1950s in this film.
I can already picture it.
But what was actually the powerhouse element to this film was the editor and how he was able to control the pacing throughout the film. Also, too, how the screenplay writer was undeniably able to make this story so interestingly as well as emotionally entertaining. Which we all know that storytelling is the major importance to any filmmaker as well as viewer.
Story. No story.
I was really impressed by this when it came to this film because it didn't rely on too many cheap shock value moments or scenes in order to grab my attention.
Pay attention!
Instead, they just focused on a character's chaotic journey going from one place to another with one ultimate goal in mind. That was filled with lies, betrayal, and love, all for the sake of just being the best.
You're not the best.
As for the characters in this, I would say they were performed pretty good or well enough in terms of entertaining tidbits.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess.
That had me either laughing pretty hard or frustrated when it came to its dialogue, or had me shocked or baffled when it came to the outrageous caught off guard moments. And from this, certain characters definitely had their spotlight moments when it came to subplots as well as the drive of the main storyline.
Works for me.
But to me though, there were only 2 clear star actors that really stole the show when it came to their performances of their characters. Which one of them being Kevin O'Leary as Milton Rockwell as our somewhat antagonist for all his hatred as well as anger and even resentment towards our main character. That at times felt pretty much understandable.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Speaking of our main character Marty, played by Timothée Chalamet, he was beyond perfect as our somewhat protagonist. That's because he starts off so unlikable in this film for all his cheating, lying, as well as arrogance of his attitude, which stays pretty consistent throughout the film, but he has a redeeming quality about him that you couldn't help but keep watching, as well as hoping that he would succeed as well as change his ways at the end.
You don't like it? I can change!
Overall, this was probably one of the best films of last year, and I definitely enjoyed all the ups and downs that this film had to offer. It's like they took a fictionalized version story of a real person and added a Forrest Gump ping pong journey element to it.
I played ping pong, even when I didn't have anyone to play ping pong with.
Which was a lot of fun and a good time for a watch, but doesn't mean it didn't come with some problems. I felt that the 80s music in this didn't really fit the overall film considering it took place in the 1950s, and the ending, even though it was good, was just a little less on the climactic side of things.
Wait for it.
But those are all very small complaints to the film's entertaining pacing of its storytelling, so that is why I'm going to give this one a yay. As for an audience thumb scale though, it's going to be a 4 out of 5. Last up we have is Old Guy, a action comedy directed by Simon West starring Christoph Waltz as an aging hitman that is forced to train a young prodigy played by Cooper Hoffman when his employers tried to replace him, but they both team up to take on their double-crossing bosses.
Say what?
Now for this type of film storytelling, we've seen this many times before, but regardless of that, I tend to gravitate towards movies like this because of its safe bet entertainment factor.
I'd like that very much.
This one, on the other hand, was a little bit more interestingly different than most contract killer movies go because it's not what you typically see in these type of movies in terms of its direction. For the fact it's based around the idea of Obi-Wan training his young Padawan or the fear of being replaced or just retiring from a job.
Always the Padawan, never the Jedi.
Which sounds like a pretty cool, funny idea on paper, but they tend to make it more of a darker tone throughout the film. Sure, we get our usual production value like editing, lighting, music, and cinematography, but this time we get an Irish UK charm / scenery element to it.
London?
Yes, London. You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins, London.
As for the comedy aspect of this film, I would say it was deserving of a chuckle here and there, but ultimately felt very dry and not punchy enough. That's because it tries more to focus on the drama as well as the reality of what it takes to live a successful loner life of a hired killer, as well as focusing on giving out life lessons or morals or rules to being good enough to not leave any messes or mistakes behind.
Who's responsible for this mess?
Which at times made a lot of sense, but then in other times really didn't make much sense at all. Like, for example, our main character tends to not keep a low profile enough where basically anybody or authorities could have a sketch artist basically draw him out.
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
Speaking on the characters and the actors who play them, I would say they all did the best they could for what was written for them. And it looked like they enjoyed acting with each other for the most part.
No, you were great.
But I also felt in certain moments with their performances, it was lacking a certain effect of emotions or just felt effortless. Either way though, Lucy Liu's character was surprisingly good as our love interest and was believable enough as somebody that just wanted a normal life.
I want to be normal. Normal.
She was just basically purely there to make certain scenes have more higher stakes, as well as be a buffer between our two main characters. As for our two main characters though, they were pretty much decent as well as written to be complete opposites in the most simplest of ways.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Whether it was the clothing that they wore or what they consumed when it came to foods and drinks, through action and dialogue, you could just tell that they do not have the same belief system or the same methods in doing their job. Which was funny and worked really well with the back and forth banter, but then it ends up turning into somewhat of a father and son type friendship.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
In the end, this one was okay and pretty much nothing to rave about. I definitely thought from its trailer it was totally misleading in the comedy aspect and wished it would have worked itself in more into the shootouts as well as some of the kill scenes.
Oh, damn it, Peter, that hurt.
Relax, Quagmire. You're doing better than Peter Weller from the opening scene of RoboCop.
It's like an indie film version of that 90s film Assassins, but without the explosions or the intense moments. And instead of Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas being enemies, they are basically colleagues.
That makes total sense.
But with bland writing of its dialogue, as well as situations, and an ending that felt very lame and unfinished, is why I'm going to give this one a nay. As for an audience thumb scale though, it's going to be a 3 out of 5. Well, that's all the time we have. As always, smash that like and subscribe button. And if you liked any of the movies we discussed, please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and may the movies be with you. Lates.